Alrighty, good evening, everybody. My name is Justin Rich. I'm the host of Countless Vlogcast. My guest today is Colson, School of Psychologist. Today he's going to talk about the benefits of going to therapy, issues we find in the Black community, and how we can resolve these issues. Alrighty. So, Chris, how you doing today? Tell us a little about yourself.
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay. So I'm currently at school of psych. I've been this is my third year coming up as a full-time school of psych. I got my undergrad degree from Eastern Illinois. I then went to get my master's of education in educational psychology, and then I got my educational specialist degree in school of psych. So I've been in the mental health field for a while now. Before um, going to my master's program, I worked in a mental uh, basically a boys group home where boys ages from 12 to 18 who were no longer could be in their home setting where they were now in a group home. So I did that for about 3 years. And during my graduate program, I worked at a therapy day school um, with grades 3 through 12 students who can no longer be in their home school, so they had to be in a more restrictive environment. So they deal with behaviors and as well as the academic side of it as well. So and currently now at school psych, I work with a lot of mental health issues that are in the school, whether it be a lot of social emotional behavior. I also deal with academics as well as a big part of this educational setting and how some of the mental health issues can kind of impact some of the academic skills. So this kind of what I've done and what I'm kind of doing now. Currently, getting my doctorate degree. My goal is to get into administration with the end goal of being a superintendent. So um, kind of being able to make some changes in the school system that I see that are not, going as well as they possibly could. So that's kind of my end goal as far as helping out the educational system and
Great. So,
then supporting the students there.
as administrator, what do you want to see changed? Like, what kind of positive change will you bring?
I think there needs to be more emphasis on students who are underserved. I think they kind of a lot of them slip through the cracks or fall through the cracks in the school system. I think there also needs to be a bigger emphasis on the mental health aspect of school. There's a lot of things that students are dealing with. Then they come to school and have to kind of work through those things. A lot of times they're not getting the support at school. So I think putting a bigger issue on mental health and also trying to provide more resources for our students. That's one thing a lot of the students I work with lack. They don't have access to some of the resources that would help them be more successful in school. So I think just kind of gearing the focus to more uh, student centered. I know we kind of are, but I think you can get more student focus and really trying to support them and figure out what you can put in place to help them be successful in school.
Great. So let's still talk a little about your experience with mental health, like going for you personally. How has it helped you going to therapy as like a
Um,
black man, as like a therapist?
it's been beneficial. I think it's important to be able to talk through the issues that you're dealing with, especially in today's world. There's a lot of things that are going on that may kind of take a toll on you. So I think it's important to be able to sit down and kind of navigate through those issues and be able to have someone there to kind of walk you through them, and also give you a space to kind of just speak your truth. A lot of times, you may not get heard, or you may not have a safe space to be able to kind of let some of those thoughts and feelings out. So it gives you a chance to be able to kind of just express yourself, be able to figure out ways to kind of navigate through some of those feelings and some of those thoughts, and kind of gives you some positive supports to kind of help you going forward.
So why do you think it's been such a stigma over the years of black people going to therapy? To from your perspective?
I would say I think it's looked down upon in the Black community because it's looked upon as a negative thing. It has a negative connotation in the Black community. Um, And I think that's the biggest reason why a lot of the people, a lot of Black people feel like they don't go or they don't need to go. I think also kind of coming from this place of parents might tell the kids, oh, just you just get through it. Um, it's kind of that same mentality of once you get older, you feel like you can just tough it out. And you don't need anyone to go to talk to, or you don't need anyone to kind of help you. And it's just something you're going through. So I think there's a lot of things that can contribute to the Black community having hesitations towards going to therapy. Um, and I think that's really kind of hurting us because we're out here, kind of just dealing with things on our own without having someone to kind of help us to kind of navigate through those things.
Okay, great. So being a school psychologist and psychiatrist, what are some methods you use for the students to help them through this their problems and issues during like the school day?
First, I think it's very important to give them a space to be able to feel like they can express themselves safely. A lot of times, I let them just kind of tell me, kind of what they're going through, because sometimes, with the teachers, whether it's the parents, they feel like they're not actually listening to them. So um, I just give them opportunity just to express, and voice their concerns, and then let them know that I'm here to support them. I'm here to do whatever I need to be able to help them kind of get through what they're going through. Um, and also just trying to kind of break it down. It's a lot of times we try to take on something all at once. It can seem overwhelming, so just kind of break it down and kind of tackle it in small steps, and just kind of plan and try to figure out ways to kind of um, tackle the issue that they may be dealing with. I think the biggest thing is just showing the kids that you're there for them and you supporting them. 'Cause a lot of times they feel like they don't have that. So give them a safe space to be able to just come in and just be vulnerable. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So I know it's been tough with like the schools being closed right now and a lot of kids not being able to get attention too. But how have you ever been like have you been able to like speak to students to like virtual world, or how would you like recommend for like parents out there like their parents kids are like struggling with no seeing somebody to talk to? What would you recommend for that with all this going on to not be able to have that in person contact?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend still trying to reach out. There's a lot of resources and a lot of different avenues that you can still receive that therapy and counseling, even though we are kind of in a remote world now. There's a lot of services, a lot of virtual counseling, virtual therapy session that you can do. Um, and I think the biggest thing is first kind of contacting the school and see what resources they have, because they will most times have a lot of resources they can kind of send them towards. But I think it's important to not just forget about it and feel like now that since we're in a virtual kind of world right now that or it's not important, or I can't do it because we're not actually in school. So I think it's important to continue to support our students and figure out ways that we can do that. And there's a lot of like I said, a lot of virtual ways, a lot of teletherapy, telecounseling, and things like that students can still receive that support even though we are kind of virtual now. So
Great. So how has it changed over the years, like in terms of the mental health industry and like the way resources for like students? How has it changed? Has it been like increased, or have you found the increase in like resources?
I think there has been a increase in resources. I also think it's not looked at as being such a negative thing anymore. I know recently when I first kind of was getting into the mental health field, a lot of people looked at it as a bad thing. If you have a mental health issue, you kind of stay away from you, or you kind of be a cast out. But I think now it's becoming more acceptable to be able to say that, oh, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z, and not be looked at as something's wrong with you. I think that's the one thing I've seen. We've kind of gotten more receptive to it. I also think there's been a lot of more resources too, for not only kids but also adults, to be able to help them, support them through these the issues that they may be going through. And I think it needs to continue to be that way, because like there's so many things that's not only going on in the world but kids are dealing with. So the more resources that we can provide, the better.
Okay, so outside of like a session with the student too, how can they help? How can they be helping carry that feeling of like positivity with them around, so they not don't have to like really rely on a psychologist too much, but like how they can keep like growing, you know?
I think it's important to kind of work with the kid on how to be able to kind of go back to those kind of coping skills, things that you teach them. 'Cause a lot of times they may feel like they're by themselves, and so they might even forget about it. But I think it's continuing to work with them, being able to so they can be self so be able to do it on their own when it comes to that, because like you said, then you're not gonna always be with them. So it's important to be able to get them to the point where they can kind of tap into some of those coping skills on their own. But I think it's practicing with them when you are with them, having them kind of model it for you so they can get more comfortable with it. And once they're comfortable with it, it'd be easier for them to kind of use it when they're not actually kind of with you. So.
Okay, so one issue maybe like parents. What if a parent is just like totally against like someone talking to somebody too? What do you want to say to a parent? What would you say to a parent that's like, oh, my kid isn't all right, my kid is normal or something like that too? Or like you feel the kid needs to like talk to somebody too, but the parents are against it too. So what happens in that situation?
I've definitely ran into that a lot, where the parents feel like their child is fine, or you're trying to label their kid. But I think the most important is to let them know that we want the kid's best interest, um, and to listen to the kid, because a lot of times they're saying what they're actually feeling and what they're actually kind of going through. Um, so I would say that is only to help them. There's a lot of things that they're going through that the parents don't even know, or that the kid might not even express to them. So it's important to just listen to the kid, and know that whatever they're saying is most of the time true, and that any extra support and resource that they can get can only help them. And it's not a negative thing for them to be able to get some of those supports, because kids go through a lot, and so it's like it's good to have something for them to actually be able to support them.
Okay. So tough question. Like a lot of kids, like probably deal with a lot of like African American kids too. Like those damn like race too. For them, what would you recommend for them too? Like in this time too, because the kid is susceptible to it too, but they may not be aware of like what's going on too. So how would you like go about like approaching a kid about the issues if they find they're dealing with that, or like maybe they don't know how to like, cope with that?
I think it's first off, it's important to just have a conversation with them, sit down and kind of just kind of see where they're at. They may have a lot of questions, and I think the more questions they ask, the better understanding they can get. So I say it's important to sit down with them, have a conversation with them, just speak with them. Even though they are kids, they understand a lot. So just being real with them, and just speaking to them as though they're a person, because they are living through the same thing that we are, even though they are kids. So I think it's important to just figure out where they're at and what they need, um, and let them know that even though there's stuff going on, it's important to figure out how you're going to deal with it and figure out the ways that you can put yourself in a position where you're able to kind of navigate through those issues, in a positive way.
Great. So, if you could give advice to like younger therapists out there just beginning or just studying the craft too, since you've had a lot of experience in it and you're studying yourself, if you could give them a word of advice, that'd be great.
I would definitely say be open minded, because there's a lot of issues going on, a lot of things that they may not feel or think that this is a mental health issue. But a lot of times it kind of goes back to that, and it's best to be able to support them through that. I'll also say try to do as much research and much reading, so that you kind of can be familiar with some of these things, so that when a student comes to you, or a kid comes to you, or even an adult, you're able to kind of help them navigate through those issues. Um, but I would say definitely, and also know that as a therapist, or as a mental health, um, in the mental health field, um, it's okay to need someone to talk to as well. Don't feel like you're the person that has to do all of the counseling and all the therapy. Find someone that you can do it with as well.
Great. So, what are some alternatives for those kids out there and the parents that are like against their therapy and like they don't want to like do it at all? Or what are alternatives out there they can use for like or methods they can use at home or I guess like yeah.
I would say definitely finding someone, maybe a family member or someone that they're close to, and they actually feel comfortable with speaking with them. Um, or just finding different. There's a lot of things on the internet that you can find that positive videos, positive self-talk things that they can work through. Also, books and things like that. Just kind of getting them into those different avenues. But I would say definitely finding someone that they feel comfortable with and just having a conversation with them. Because a lot of times, you know, there's family members who may be older who can give you kind of those same advice, but it's not coming from an actual um, professional, so it doesn't seem as though they're in counseling or getting therapy. So I would definitely say that's a good resource to do for parents who are kind of against that. So
Great. So final question. Could you give advice or like some words of encouragement to people out there and like kids out there like struggling during this time too that may not maybe unsure about going back to school or unsure about seeing their friends again, unsure about the future?
I would say find someone to talk to. Don't hold everything in because it would take a toll on you. So I would say definitely find someone that you are comfortable with, that you can talk to, express your feelings, because it's the only way you'll be able to kind of work through them. Um, so I would say, and don't feel like you're in this alone because we're all kind of going through the same thing. Some people might just be handling it a little bit better, a little differently. So it's not a bad thing to need help. I think that's the most important thing. Always try to figure out, even though you're going through things, but figure out who you can go to kind of get that support, and that there's always someone out there that's willing to help.
Great. So finally, where can people find you at websites and social media if anyone needs to talk to you or like reach out to you?
My social media is I am underscore Colson. My last name Colson. Also, you can be found on LinkedIn under my name, Chris Colson. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much where they can find me at. So yeah,
All right. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing your experience. Definitely like kids need somebody to talk to and you seem like a great resource. So thank you for coming on.
no problem. Thanks for having me.
This has been the Countless Vlogcast with my guest, Chris Colson, school psychologist. All right, make sure you guys watch this again on YouTube, Countless Vlogcast, and make sure you guys reach out if you need anybody to talk to. And you guys for watching.
Thank you.